I recently downloaded the Headway app because I tend to stay pretty busy. I am not naturally somebody who enjoys sitting down to read a bunch of books. I do love reading and I do love doing research, but I have found in the past that it was difficult for me to quiet my mind enough to sit down and read a book, so I am working on that. And in the meantime, I am working with the Headway app that basically allows me to get a really great summary of books very, very quickly. And one I wanted to highlight for you guys today is The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. I am really enjoying this summary. And what's also really nice about this too is I can get a summary of a book before deciding if I want to buy it from Amazon or a local bookstore or something. I can actually see based on the summary if it's something that I would enjoy reading in more depth. Now, this reading from today is called Be Buddha Instead of Quoting Him. And again, this is from The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. And this is the summary from the Headway app. It says, we are addicted to thinking. We find comfort in the voices in our heads as they shield us from terrifying creatures, our authentic selves. Our thoughts often dress up our inner nudity to make it presentable for, first and foremost, ourselves. On rare occasions, the voices stop talking. But instead of being relieved, we're terrified of the smallness of our true selves, hidden behind our opinions of ourselves and others, otherwise known as ego. In other words, our mind is the ego. How can we recognize this unfathomable entity? In short, these are all the meanings we attach ourselves to: opinions, judgments, ideologies, favorite art genres, and even aesthetics. Put differently, we need things to identify with and to present ourselves in a favorable light. We often refer to these external factors as our personality. However, if we momentarily detach ourselves from our favorite band or show, the sense of emptiness and indifference may resurface. As social beings, we fear the inability to connect with others, which can lead to being labeled as an outcast. That is why we would rather let our minds feed off of our worries and insecurities than confront them and become whole without relying on external validation. Speaking of worries and insecurities, our emotions can also stab us in the back. What is emotion if not a spillover of our thoughts? Sometimes the feelings grow so intense that we lose the sense of consciousness and let them defeat us. What follows is anger, irritation, confusion, or panic. Literally any emotion on that negative spectrum. No idea is entirely correct, and no opinion is exhaustive. Let's look at an example. When someone points out our mistake or challenges our view with a valid argument, our ego starts to panic. Built on the illusion of its decisive but frankly baseless credibility, it's scared of exposure. Our ego refuses to admit its mistakes. The emotional reaction we're experiencing is feeling offended. However, it's not a personal insult to ourselves, but rather an attack on our ego. Since it depends on outside markers like our tastes and ideas, our ego becomes vulnerable and exposed when they are questioned. Understanding the link between external validation, very important, and the ego is critical because emotions and thoughts feed off of each other. A harmful opinion causes a magnified negative feeling, escalating the thought. We become trapped in our minds, unable to experience love and joy. Did you know? Excessive social media use can force some users to adopt popular appearances and activities for future validation, instead of observing their present selves and values.